Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here on a Wednesday evening. We are very, very happy to welcome back Tom Dongo from the wild, wild west of Sedona, Arizona, the man of many, many, many years of experience and knowledge, including major investigator of Bradshaw Ranch and all sorts of other stuff. Lala and I are very happy to have you back, Tom, and welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure. You guys are my 105th time on radio, and I've about 105 million people. So I'm pretty experienced at it. Yeah, pleasure.
Awesome.
My pleasure.
Are you still a regular experiencer?
I'm 80 years old now. I don't get out on the sites anymore.
But do you have stuff in and around your home?
Oh yeah. I'm right in the middle of a web, and so I get it all the information, all the things that go on, and so it's keeps me off the streets,
Oh, of course it does. So, when was the last time you were on Bradshaw Ranch?
Oh, well, 6 months ago. I go out about twice a year. I spent 4.5 years out there. So, I said that Linda Bradshaw and I probably experienced more paranormal things than probably a handful of people ever on this planet. Some of the stuff that we do was the paranormal stuff was just phenomenal.
Oh yeah. So when Melinda and I went out there, I saw. So you go through the gate. Here's the house over here. And over here's all of the farm buildings. And kind of at the end of the buildings, there's this little white building with like 2 windows in it. I saw the clearest possible shadow man walk across the front of the window. It was amazing. And then I saw Bigfoot footprints, one side only. The place is wild. And you constantly feel energy.
Yeah, what happened about a month ago now. This kind of blew me away. They were a bunch of people were out there, and there was no wind at all, dead calm, and the windmill started. So they said, well, that's kind of let's try this in our minds. Let's ask it to slow down and stop, and it did. And they said, well, yeah, that was pretty cool. Now let's. I mean, this is impossible. Let's have it reverse, and it did. And they've got it on film. They can prove it.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. Yeah. So we walked all around, and you just could feel stuff. You'd hear stuff, and you turn around and see what was near you, and you couldn't see anything. And it just felt odd. Is the agricultural experiment stuff still there?
Yeah, the University of Northern Arizona leases it. So they're basically evidently studying the Arizona flora and fauna there.
Oh, that's terrific. Oh yes, I saw pieces of it when I was there, but that was 3 years ago. I came out and visited Melinda for 3 days, and we had a good time. Went out and saw several craft. I stayed out until it was dark at Bradshaw, and then over toward the cement factory and all that other stuff over there where they have the underground military base. We saw stuff coming up and down. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, you know, I know everybody that goes out there, and evidently it's government stuff. There's a camera facing the ranch, and a camera facing straight up, and it's powered by the sun. There's plates on there that power it. It's there all the time. I've been given photographs of it. It's government.
Wow. Yeah, I've been told by more than one person, including Melinda and all of her folks that go out there investigating. You go just a few steps too far, or try to fly a drone over in the forbidden zone and have its a software block it from going over there, and you will get a visit from the camo guys.
Yeah, the History Channel had trouble with that. The drone came back, and it got sent back. They didn't bring it back. It got something sent it back.
Yeah, so you are required by law for a drone that is flown inside the United States to have the firmware kept up to date, and that will have exclusion zones programmed into the firmware. I mean, you don't even get access to it.
Yeah. Oh, that's strange. You know, I can't even keep up with it. I've been at this for 50 years. And there's so much stuff going on. I can't, you know, it's like my old heart, my brain hard drive is overloaded. There's so much going on everywhere.
Yeah, I'm right in the thick of it. So, I mean, it is impossible to do everything, listen to everything, read everything.
Yeah.
You have to pick your poison.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah.
The latest stuff that, you know, I heard from Melinda and all of those that were going out there is they had done all sorts of research into the land in and around where they believe the deep underground military base was, and they found that cement factory is owned by Lockheed Martin.
Yeah. You know, well, you know, years ago, there used to be 7 real serious researchers here. So one girl, Claudia, she was a real fireball. Claudia Sanderson. She was kind of investigating the cement plant down there, and she was told that there's enough room underneath for all of the workers and their families if there's ever an emergency. So that's a lot of space.
Well, the government back when they began developing all sorts of weird aircraft and you know what else.
Yeah.
They built these underground military bases throughout the Southwest. I mean, there are bunches of them.
I can't. Well, you know, I used to know that he moved to Brazil, but he was the world expert in underground tunnels, and they're everywhere.
Yeah, apparently all these underground military bases, or many of them, maybe not all of them, are connected by tunnels that are miles and miles and miles long. And apparently the hugest place right now, that the last time I listened to any of this, is up at Dugway Proving Grounds, where you have the state of Rhode Island underground a couple of miles.
Yeah.
That's pretty. I mean, that is so huge. I can't even think about how much volume that is.
I wonder if that's why New Jersey's getting all these sinkholes. I mean, it's going to collapse completely.
Well, Florida's full of sinkholes, but I don't know about New Jersey.
Yeah.
Does it happen? Wow, I don't know.
No.
They've shut down highways recently in New Jersey.
Wow.
At the Bradshaw Ranch, are they just looking for aliens, or do they think it's something like a skinwalker or apparent like ghost? Like, is it multiple things? Because I don't know much about Bradshaw Ranch. I live under a rock, sorry.
Well, you know, I know insiders. I know some really high level people that I call them rumors. So I hear a lot of stuff going on, and it's pretty interesting right now. And one of the things that this is I was told don't talk a word about this to anybody, but he's been talking about it, but just in a roundabout way. I'm not going to be too direct with it, but extraterrestrials are getting fed up with us destroying the planet and destroying ourselves, and they're getting ready to do something.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna make a move, and this could be tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are all sorts of people, including her, by the way. But Courtney Brown is talking about the good ETs coming to stop the bad ETs that have made a treaty with us, and they're fighting a war with them and sacrificing their whatever they send here with their souls in it as a remote control robot with a consciousness in it, and it's just all of this stuff, and it's just kind of wild. She and Birdie Jaworski and a bunch of other people like that I know are talking about there is a craft run by the military of the people who landed in Roswell coming, and there are humans on board, and they are coming to get their craft and their bodies. And should we interfere with that, they will wipe everybody out who is in the way. And so this brought this narrative, which was heard inside the program, was brought out by Jason Sands, who is a whistleblower.
Yeah, it's getting to be but one of the problems is there are fewer and fewer critical thinkers, and the stupidity is just, it's a tidal wave around the world right now. The same things that you hear, it's just something's making people more stupid.
That's absolutely true. And then don't go on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, and TikTok and other places, because it is maddening how little beyond what they see online, no matter how stupid, they are spreading everywhere. They don't do any reading, don't ask anybody that knows anything. They just accept everything and repost it.
Yeah. A lot of it is it's just fantasy and imagination. There's no, for me to believe something, I have to prove it. Otherwise, I won't believe it.
Yeah.
That's my like I said to a guy the other day. I said I don't follow anybody. I follow me. And
if you're going to choose anybody to follow, that's a very good choice, Tom.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna put this on Facebook in a couple of days, when some of my other stuff clears up a little bit. But now get a load of this. Now, I bet nobody has ever said this on radio before. Lately, people have been disappearing. I mean, poof, I've been deep into David Paulides' thing, the missing 411. I'm considered to be one of the world's best remote viewers with Courtney Brown. I mean, I'm just saying that because I have been, and I spent a lot of time proving remote viewing. So we're just things are gee whiz, I forgot what I was going to say. I got off track.
Oh no, the thing that's never been said on radio before now.
Yeah. No, I completely got off track what I was talking
about. Oh, that's
about.
all right. Don't worry about it. She does it all the time. She can't. Tomorrow she won't remember who we interviewed, but I'm teasing.
What's your name?
So she was. So the first thing I do when I hear something that sounds a little wonky, I'll bring the usual stuff she needs, and I say, "What do you feel about this?"
Yeah.
And she does her remote viewing thing, and this is crap, or this is real, or they are in bad shape, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's my first filter. And after that, if she says, I think it's okay, then I go do deep research. Otherwise, I don't bother.
Yeah, well, there's so much BS around these days that it's getting really tough to. Most of the people I hang out with are pretty critical thinkers, and there's two or three that we go back and forth all the time, and we're pretty much from I know we're pretty much spot on. So we're trying to figure out, and a couple of them are fed up with the stuff that's on the internet. They said, "Well, I can't take any more of this. I just can't."
Right.
But yeah, things are going to be, like Paul Hellyer, the Canadian minister, said that I put it on Facebook 30 times now. They don't stop me. I keep rerunning it. Paul Hellyer, he said the extraterrestrials contacted them, all the governments. And they said that our planet is in grave danger. Our forests are dying. Our jungles are dying. Our water is polluted. And, the people have to do something now. So, and, he was a high government official. So he's talking about, so I've Paul Hellyer, Canadian, the Canadian defense minister.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he was a brave man coming out all he came out with when he came out with it. And I think he got a lot of that from Haima Shed, but I'm not certain. Maybe you know more.
I years ago, I've been deep in this stuff for a long, long time, about 50 years. And I remember this name, Cope Shellhorn.
Okay.
He was a real important guy about 20 years ago. And Cope, I was standing with him. Well, this is kind of funny. I said, Cope, you think there's any FBI agents or CIA agents here tonight? And he said, yes, there's 7. And I said, how do you know that? Because I was playing cards with them last night, and they were playing with government money.
So I was at the UFO con this past weekend, and there were 5 government investigators, at least 2 of them with AFOSI, who were there, and they were checking people out. And then let me give you one weird thing that she's got a question. We had a woman who gave a talk, and she went outside to get some fresh air, and she saw this strange woman walk through the door and try to close it. She ran in after her. The weird woman walked between me, John Ramirez, Jason Sands, and Dave Scott. And the 4 of us were yipping, yapping, and barely paying attention. But she and another woman were running after this one and telling her, whoa, stop, what, stop.
Oh, yeah.
And then she walked up to her, grabbed her, turned her around. I got a look at the woman's face. She had black eyes.
Yeah, I heard that.
The other woman with her got between her and me, but Ramirez saw it and the 2 women saw it. That person disappeared right there.
Right. Well, this is I got to finish that Cope Shellhorn story, but this other thing, the disappearing people. I had a guy. He was walking. Now remember this. I don't think anybody's ever thought of this on radio. Now, why is it? This guy was walking beside me, and I turned away and I turned back, and he was gone. I looked all over for him. He just disappeared. I was disappeared once. I used to be a treasure hunter with my partner, and we were up at 8,000 feet, and I got projected in another canyon a half a mile away in a blink of an eye.
Wow.
Yeah, I was carrying metal detectors and shovels and everything. Here I am standing and I knew where I was because we'd been there the day before, but somebody did that to me in a blink of an eye, but at least I came back. A lot of these people don't come back. Right. But see, now if you think about all these disappearing stories, nobody is ever looking at the person that disappeared. They look away just for a second, and they look back, and then poof, they're gone. That's almost every case. They're never staring at them when they disappear. And I don't know if I talked about this before, but I had an extraterrestrial human girl materialize about a foot away from me. and it was witness. We talked to her. I was there with my girlfriend, and it's a long story. It really is.
Go ahead.
Okay, I've told this. Well, anyway, we were hiking, and it was a really rainy. It was a wet day. The mud was 6 inches thick, and her name was Petrolina. And she was standing. I was trying to find a trail down to some Sedona Indian petroglyphs, some rock art, and I couldn't. I was getting really frustrated because I was hot and sweaty, and I had my mud all over my boots, and so I'm just standing there, and she was about 30 feet away from me, and a girl comes walking out of the woods with red pants and a white wool sweater on. And these things always take you by surprise. I can, anyway. So I'm so confused about not being able to find the trail. The girl didn't have a dog with her. I mean, there's almost no crime around here, but women almost always have a dog with them, and she didn't. And she was dressed in street clothes and had street shoes on. Sneakers, something like that, some soft. So anyway, they were talking, and I kind of wiggled my finger at her. She came up to me, and I said, "You don't happen to know?" I don't even know why I asked her this, but I said, "You don't happen to know where the trail down to the petroglyphs is, do you?" And she went over and she pointed right there by my feet, and I looked, and sure enough, the rain had changed it, because it rained and snowed a lot. And it was the trail, and I said, "Well, thank you." So I waved Petrolina over. We went down. It was very steep. I mean, it was, probably, I don't know, 60 degrees. It was steep.
Ooh, that's steep.
Yeah, it was steep. It was you had to hang on to the rocks going down, but it was a trail. So we got down there, and I've seen 3 extraterrestrials. I'll tell you. So anyway, so we got down there, and I'm looking, and it's funny. These the Sedona Indians did these about 1,000 years ago, and they were all sexual stuff, which I'd never seen before. It was all pornographic. So anyway, the girl, I didn't see her come down. I didn't see her, but anyway, poof, I almost knocked her down when I turned around. She was so close. And I got a real good look at her. We talked, me and her and my girlfriend talked, and she was asking questions about the petroglyphs. And so I did the best I could, not really knowing anything about them. And she talked so low, so quietly. I had to put my ear right up to her mouth, because she talked so quietly. And she looked about 27 years old. Wasn't particularly pretty, but people have said that when I've been on different shows, was she a ghost? Was she a jinn or a succubus or something like that? No, she was. I said what I would have wished I had have done was touched her, ask her if I could have touched her to make sure she wasn't an illusion. So anyway, Petrolina was over by the water. It was flood stage. It was been raining and snowing so much. So the girl was right, probably 18 inches away from me. So I turned back from Petrolina, and she was gone. Poof, she disappeared, and I could see for hundreds of yards in every direction, and she's gone. She just poof disappeared.
I was freaked out.
So I'm going to be honest with you. Let me be straight honest with you. I rarely believed and rarely listened to these kinds of stories.
Yeah.
Until I had that experience, and now I'm finding that stuff basically everywhere I look on social media and these circles. It's happening all over the place. And of course, I even listen to David Paulides, but it doesn't sink in. And the stuff that sinks in with him in particular is he is now talking about non-human intelligence and UFOs being involved in these abductions that take people away forever.
Well, I was I got to be real good friends with Connie Willis on Coast to Coast, and I probably told this story 100 times. So, but anyway, I was trained by, well, actually, I was born with a remote viewing ability. It's a long story, and I've tried to give it away to millions of people on these shows I've been on free. You know, I wasn't charged. Some of these people charge $5,000 to train a remote viewer, and I was giving it away free, and they gave me time enough to do it on the show. So anyway, yeah. So I was when you get to be 80 years old, your brain. So anyway, I was on Coast to Coast, and I said, Connie, no, she said, no, I'm going to talk about this. I was talking about David Paulides and the missing 411. Because I found out where, and if you guys haven't seen the video, the missing 411, it's a mind blower. Everybody should see it.
Yeah,
it's the video, and there was a deer hunter that disappeared, and I got kind of the coordinates aware, not exactly, but good enough for me. Because I was trained at the Berkeley Psychic Institute to trail. Like you deal with somebody and you leave an energy a cord. It's like a cord between you and them for a while. Anyway, so I found the deer hunter. I found his trail, and I've done this a bunch of times. So I'm and then people have asked me, "Were you going up or are you going down?" I was going up, real fast. So. I could talk for an hour about this.
Please go ahead. Please. We want to hear it.
Well, General Stubblebine, I was in. He had about 800 of the best remote viewers in the world in Denver, and I could do things they couldn't. So I'm sitting there bouncing up and down. Really wanted to raise my hand. You know, I can do it. So anyway, so I better get back to my. You know, when I do talks, when I do presentations, I've done a lot. I'm just too tired now to do them, but. I would tell people, listen, if somebody say, hey, Tom, you were talking about remote viewing. If I drift off the subject, way off the subject, and I'm talking about something else completely, somebody yell out, hey, Tom, you were talking about, Bigfoot or something. I go, oh yeah, okay. So I get back on the subject. But anyway, so something slammed my brakes on, wherever I was, and I heard a voice that said, this is as far as you go.
Oh,
yeah, and so because I see remote viewers will come up against a wall. It's a literal wall, and that's as far as you can go. And Stubblebine was saying none of his remote viewers could get around it, but I could. I learned how to do it. So I'm looking at the wall, and it's literally a wall. It's an energy wall, and the voice said, don't try it. So, because I could get around it, but see, whatever it was, and I was on Coast to Coast with this. Well, 7 million listeners that night, prime time. Oh. It did not want me to see what was on the other side of that wall. It was either more horrible or more wonderful than we can imagine, and it is turning out it was both. Because I've heard things from. Rumors and whatnot from insiders, and I think it was both. Because we're is this a prison planet? Are we somebody's herd of cattle? And it's a little bit of both.
Oh yeah.
There's being a remote viewer. There's something going on that nobody understands on this planet. Nobody, and I've challenged the best remote viewers. To prove me wrong, or tell me right, whatever, add something. Yeah. So anyway, I would give it away free. Not now. I don't have. People have asked me, well, can you train me? And I say, no, I don't. I don't have the time. But there's I wish. I wish I could train 1 million people to be good remote viewers, good ones, because this world would be a different place.
Would it ever?
Yeah.
Would it ever?
Yeah.
I don't want the bad guys tearing up every country in the world to be able to hide in the dark.
I
Yeah.
have a question real quick.
Go for it.
What have you ever? Am I loud enough?
Yeah.
Have you ever what's your opinion on people that have, what's the word? Implants in their body? What do you think about? I mean, I have one, but I don't know why. People tell me. I definitely know about the one for sure, but whatever. Okay. So what do you think about that? Is it good or bad? Am I a pet? Like, you know?
Oh, you know, I really got into that for a while, and the doctor Roger, Roger Lear, I think, I forgot his name now.
Yeah, Dr. Lear. Yep.
Dr. Lear. Yeah, he and I got to be very good friends because I was doing a speech in Orange County, and I got warned. I did a speech in Hollywood the night before, and I said, "You watch out! That Orange County crowd is a tough crowd. Get ready for it." And I was dead tired because I didn't get any sleep the night before. So I'm talking about an incident that happened on the Bradshaw Ranch with a human-like creature that weighed a good 1,000 pounds on a 12-inch foot. So Roger, yeah, and I proved it. I had the photographs. I don't know where they are now. I can't find them, but I photographed my footprint and the track, and it took a good 1,000 pounds. So anyway, Roger speaks up. He says, "Tom, that's anatomically impossible. To 1,000 pounds on a 12-inch foot, it's impossible." And I said, "Yeah, but Roger, what if this thing was from another dimension?" You know, and it kind of stopped him. So anyway, after that, we got to be real good friends. And you know, in the implants, you know, he's the one that tried to take the one out of Whitley Strieber. You know, they chased it around his ear trying to get the implant.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The surgeon couldn't hold it long enough to get it.
They can't move.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know, I've been implants. I've been dealing with it. I've been asked 1,000 times. I can see into a human body like an X-ray machine. Well, it's one of the things I can do. I'm pretty strange. And yeah, well, you know, I was at the Berkeley, the University of California, Berkeley wanted me to come there for 2 weeks. They wanted to study me. I'm so strange, but I didn't because it was a lot of it had to do with hypnosis, and I didn't want to do it. But anyway, I can see into a human body like an X-ray machine. I've done it hundreds of times. I've even done it on medical doctors with 95% accuracy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So the implants, I don't know. A lot of the implants are people's imagination. Because that was everybody, you know, Sedona, everybody has implants. Everybody was a channel. Everybody was a walk-in, you know, Sedona.
That's topic walk-ins.
It's very, but let me interject one thing. She was having headaches, so I took my RF sensor meter, put it to her head, and it was pulsing RF out of her head. And the human body does not put out that much transmit power.
No, agreed. Yeah, no, there's something. You know, there's so many things we need to know much more about that you know, that's one of the problems right now with what's going on in the world is confusion. Everybody's confused, you know, it's rampant. But yeah, no, the implants, you know, it's just that's why I seriously wanted, you know, to train millions of remote viewers. So, you know, and it's like the 100th monkey thing that maybe one is Maureen St. Germain and I taught remote viewing for 2 years. And we created some pretty fantastic remote viewers. We don't do it anymore, but so you know it would make life so much because there's so many things we need to know. And I used to get I just got attacked last week. I was called a fraud 3 times. That hasn't been happening in a while.
Sorry.
Yeah, my your books are a fraud. You're a fraud. You know.
I just ignore those jerks.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I usually do it, but sometimes it's, you know, they're dung slingers. You know, they want to start a dung fight. You know,
Of course they do. It's their entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't do that anymore. I'm too old and too tired.
Not worth
But
it. Yeah.
but they're trying to start a fight. So this guy obviously was. I just didn't. I was hoping he wouldn't keep it up, and he didn't. So anyway, yeah. So there's things going on we've got to understand, and I'm pushing it as hard as I can.
I have a question with remote viewing. When we dream, and I believe that we go to maybe an astral realm. Because I do, when you dream, you do get visitations from spirits and other things, and you get messages. Is remote viewing going to a certain astral realm, just like when you dream and you go to a different realm? Are they similar realms?
Well, not really.
Completely, it's different.
Yeah, not really. And I've asked other remote viewers. Remote viewer will get blocked in a lot of places. I mean, you just can't go any further. And try to find a remote viewer that can see into the future. I have never run it, and I know some of the best that exist. And some of them are my best friends, and they can't go into the future. I can go into the past. I can go in, and see something in the past. I love to go to a Saxon village in England, 1,500 years ago, and sit there and watch everything. It's easy for me. And smell everything. The air is clean and nice and clean. The flowers smell wonderful. The people stink, of course, because they never took a bath back in those days. But it's really, really enjoyable going back to a quieter time like that. Remote viewing, just sit there and watch things.
Tom, the ones that I have seen, and I'm going to give you an example that can do that. They say, for example, this is going to happen tomorrow around this time, and here's what you're going to see. And they themselves are present in the situation when what they said yesterday occurs today. So it's retrocausal. They are sending it back to themselves. And here's the example. Skywatcher is this group out there in the desert that are trying to video UFOs and other stuff. And they've got this group, and they're going out with millions of dollars worth of equipment. And they have these remote viewers, psi people, etc. And a group of them said, tomorrow afternoon, when we come out, there's going to be the craft we all want to see, but two others are going to come and get in the way while we're trying to interact with them. And they were there the next day. The craft they were signaling for to come came, and two different craft, a manta ray and Tic Tac, came and got in the way, just like the remote viewer said. But the same people making the prediction were there on the day of. So I believe retrocausality like that is possible, given they succeeded. And they're going to try it over and over again.
Yeah. Well, Stephen Greer, he's, are we creating some of these things as humans? Because we have powers that we've forgotten. I got into a real heavy duty conversation with a guy the other day about this. Were we at one time very powerful beings, but for some reason we have forgotten what we could do, like remote viewing. Probably everybody was an expert remote viewer at one time, and I know some of the best, and we have coffee together and all that stuff, so I won't name him. We all know who he is, but he's made a prediction. I smack my head, and he's always wrong. Anyway, that stuff drives me nuts. It's like I don't dare to say anything like, no, he's wrong, I'm right, But I can't remember what the prediction was now, but it's wrong. It's not going to happen.
So
now
Tom, Mercedes Lucky Benedict is our friend, and she has a show, and she'd like to have you on. So I was gonna say, she's a terrific host, and we love her. Anyway, she'd be good for you to go on, and yeah, okay. Just I'm letting these people put up their comments because they were here, and we're happy to have them. And I'd love to give them a little time in the sunlight while they've come here to honor our guest. And so we're very happy that all of you are here. And for the 156 of you that are looking at this time, we are extremely grateful you're here. Hi. Do you have a question?
Last time you were on, before we ended, we said that the next time you'd come on, we'd talk about, I like spooky stuff, like, learning about demons and things like that, just because I've experienced some things with my family that I want to learn more about. But you said that I think you had a friend or a girlfriend that had an issue with maybe an attachment, or you knew information about demonology or demons. So maybe if you knew anything about that.
That doesn't ring a bell at all. I don't know.
Well, my question is, the two times I had something, one time the entity, I don't know if it's a demon, it was intimidating and not the best energy. It had pure white eyes, and then the other one had pure black eyes. And so I always ask people, do you know what does the eye color signify something?
Well, yeah, they do. One of the extraterrestrials I saw, I've been face to face with three. He was about 6'5", and I make the joke he looked like Brad Olson.
Oh.
But he was about Brad's size, and he had one green eye and one blue eye. I mean, it would knock you down, So the guy wasn't human, but he was with a tall white woman. And I was right beside him in Augie Nost. I was on his show one time. He said, one of you was invisible. They probably couldn't see you. And I thought, that makes sense. But I was probably 4 feet away from this tall white. And the tall whites do not like us humans.
No.
Yeah.
They think we're rude.
Huh.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm standing right beside. I'm 6'3", and she was my height, and she had she's wearing all black. This was about 9 o'clock at night in a supermarket of all places, and and she had wraparound sunglasses on, so you couldn't see her eyes. So that was a clue for me right there. She really was a tall white, and she was terrified being around humans. Just terrified. And so the guy with the blue eye and green eye came out, and he had kind of a smirk on his face, and he took her by the arm and walked right by me, and neither one of them looked at me. For a while there, I was getting people are asking me, well, what did they buy? What did they buy? Because she got a cart and was pushing it. And I like to make a bad cheap hamburger, white bread, and Twinkies.
Except I don't understand that, because aren't they vegetarians?
Yeah. No, I was joking. That's just so.
I get it. I understand.
Yeah, no, they were going down. I watched them, and they were taking stuff off the shelves and looking at it and turning it over, and you could tell they were saying humans actually eat this blank. And then put it back,
Yeah, they telepathically they were conversing.
Yeah. So I had to leave, so I left, and they were still there. So being 5 feet away from a tall white woman is a pretty freaky experience. Her skin was like snow white, and she was dressed all in black, and she was my height, about 6'3". And black hair, and this stuff with the black, the strange colors of the eye. Yeah, I've interviewed people that have had actually it happened to me too. If we got time, I'll tell you this story.
Please.
Yeah. So anyway, the dark-eyed ones are dangerous, very dangerous.
Okay.
Doesn't matter whether it's just the pupil or the whole eye.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had a guy that talked to one. He said that thing didn't have a soul. It didn't. It was like talking to it was like trying to talk to a corpse. And all black eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty weird. Oh boy,
the woman I saw in San Francisco, she had all black eyes. She had zero personality, and I called her a non-performing character, an NPC. She had like no nothing. She was like blank.
Now when I heard that a friend of mine was there too. Now were you guys looking at her when she disappeared?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. So look, there was a woman that blocked. I saw her face, and then a woman got between me and her. But John Ramirez could see between the two women. They and he saw her disappear.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's real interesting.
It's very. I was like, what? And I ran around all over the place to see if I saw any more like her or could see her.
Yeah. Oh, I'll finish that Cope Shellhorn story. So Cope wrote a book. He wrote a book about all the UFO researchers that have been murdered over the last, like 30 years or whatever. And it was about 150, 160. And he says his book is coming out, and it never did. It's done. It's ready to be published. But somebody, gave him an offer he couldn't refuse or something. But he all these guys that shot themselves in the back of the head with 4 times, or the brakes failed going down a steep hill, and actually I was involved with some people here in Sedona that was buying Long Canyon, that huge property. Now it's all developed, but his name was Ryan, just a heck of a nice guy, because he was rich. But he had a brand new Lincoln Continental, and there's a hill going out of Long Canyon. It's pretty steep. So there's a brand new Lincoln Continental. He just started going down it, and the steering locked up, and it rolled over 7 times.
Oh my God.
Yeah, So weird, strange things happen, but so anyway, Cope, but he proved it. He's a college professor. He's a university professor. So he did his research. He said about 150, 170 were murdered, UFO researchers.
Wow.
But that's stopped. That's not happening anymore. That's not been a big factor for, I'd say, 10, 15 years now.
Well, I love the story of the guy that was checking into Dulce and apparently had a battle down there with the non-humans that were below, and he later died from, quote, suicide with a rubber hose. With a rubber hose stretched around his neck, so deep, they didn't see it until they moved the body.
Yeah.
He was strangled to death by somebody murdering him, and they called it suicide.
And he knew it. The last video he ever did, you can see his eyes. He saw somebody in that room that scared the crap out of him. It was just horrible. I read about that. It was horrible. It happens all the time. Then they kill doctors that get for cancer, that get what's the word? The cures for cancer. They end up dead or suicide.
Or vehicles that run on water, or people that publish papers about how to make the craft work, or 0-point energy. They suddenly disappear along with all their work.
Yeah. Well, we need to know about this crap. I mean, that's what I want to know what's going on. When I'm, I've had, I'd say about 105 million. And this is just this last week is the first time I've been attacked verbally in a long, long time. So I say all this stuff to people. We need to know what's going on. I mean, we're and we're being dumbed down more and more. Yeah. So the situation is getting even worse. But we need to be told what's going on, straight out, because we need it. We're we need to know, and most people can handle it, and so that it would be. Anyway, that's kind of my thing is to find, something protects me. It's either extraterrestrial or spiritual, because I've been, I hunt. When I was younger, I hunted them on their turf. I went after them, and I never got. I had so many close scrapes, but I always was okay. And I've never been. Linda Bradshaw and I were never harmed in any way. And the stuff on the skid.
The stuff she has been through, Tom. I know you would believe it, but most people wouldn't.
Yeah.
And she's come out nearly unscathed on the other side. Horrible memories, but she's here.
Yeah, I love that stuff because I learn. I learned stuff, new stuff from it.
Yep. And I often come up with downloads that go against the grain.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm right on, and sometimes I'm wrong. But whenever I'm wrong, I don't get angry about it. No. I learn from it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I tell people, on the radio or whatever, if you prove me wrong, that's it. That's the end of it. You're right, and I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bicker and squabble with you about it. Right. So, anytime somebody can prove me wrong. I mean, if they're gonna, like this guy last week, he's just a troll. These they love a good fight. So anyways, that's the first one in a long time. When I was first in this business, doing this stuff about 50 years ago, I got attacked so often verbally, and even like MUFON was just gunning for me for a long time. Calling me a fraud in the national paper and all that stuff. So I don't get along real well with MUFON still.
Was that when Campion was the director?
Say that again.
Was that when Campion was the director of MUFON?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Look. Later on, he was interviewed by another woman in the UFO field that everybody know what I will not name. And he talked about leaving MUFON and going back to work for his favorite CIA contractor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no kidding. And he destroyed Chris Bledsoe's life for 7 years.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Yeah, it's some of these people, I can name a few that were attacked so often. And one guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he was a guy in naval intelligence. I was talking on the phone one day, and he said, the guy's telling the truth. I know because I saw it all. Now I can't remember. I was going to say his name. It wouldn't hurt him any. But oh shoot, no, I can't. But anyway, he got validated. But that poor guy, people just it made his life hell, attacking him, saying he was, he's faking it, he was a liar and all that stuff, and it really messed him up. But my friend in naval intelligence said he lived near to him, and he said, I was there, I saw it. So that's yeah.
I think that when someone is telling the truth to people and a higher up doesn't want that truth told, I think that's when a lot of trolls come into play, and I feel like they're paid to do this sometimes, to attack people. You know what I mean? I have one last question real quick. Do you think so like his friend Chris sees a lot of orange orbs. Do you think the color orb signifies anything about maybe what they are or where they're from? Do you know any information about if color means anything with orbs?
Yeah, me and Linda Bradshaw and Linda Crystal, actually we're the founders of orb photography, orb period. It went all around the world. But yes, absolutely, the colors around here. It's orange orbs, too. So they're absolutely a significant thing. Orbs are real. They're living things, and they're one guy studied them. He said they're about the intelligence of a dog, an intelligent dog, and that's about right. So yeah, no, the color is very significant.
What does the orange mean? Do you know?
I don't know, but around here around Sedona, even I've seen about 400 UFO ships.
Okay.
And I was about 40 feet away from one a long time ago with 6 witnesses. So I don't know, but the orange is extremely significant. But I don't know how. I don't know how, because some of the ships were orange.
So the two of us and Chris Bledsoe and kind of everybody that knows Chris and has inherited whatever it is, all of us see orange orbs.
Yeah, really good.
Well, I saw them just one time that I remember before I knew you guys, over top my parents' house when they were still alive. And it was the coolest thing. I mean, they were very prominent, very big, and there were 5 of them that went to a shape of a V. And I don't know what it was, but it was amazing, bright orange, And then they slowly disappeared.
And then she lost time for the rest of the day.
I did.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I used to look at my watch all the time just to make sure I didn't even have it. But I had a group of women. We saw a UFO. I said, let's we saw some orange things floating around. And I said, in our minds, let's ask it to appear for 5 seconds, materialize. And it did. And that thing was a quarter of a mile big right in front of us.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
within 100 yards, it was a good quarter of a mile. And we watched it disappear over the mountains.
We have this very, very good friend in Scotland that we know through Grant Cameron, and she gets orbs that are so huge it's hard to describe.
Yeah. Yeah, I had an ex-girlfriend. She could get all photographs like that. Phenomenal. I could be right beside her and not get anything, and she could get 100.
Right.
Yeah. So.
So if general orbs seen are potentially not of high sentience, what does this tell us about what the nature of these critters really are? Are they self-generating?
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's one of the things we need to know. They've probably been here much longer than humans. So. And who are they really?
Well, that question's from Bill Pix. He's a close friend of mine.
Yeah.
And he is a smart guy and asks great questions.
Yeah.
Tom, we've about come to the end. What do you got going on that you want our audience?
Oh yeah. Let me my book. I always everybody go out and buy a copy of Merging Dimensions. It's
all right.
Yeah, Merging Dimensions. This is my best-selling book. It's kind of my bread and butter. Merging Dimensions. It's all about the Bradshaw Ranch. Merging with an M. So anyway, that's my.
I'm putting it into the talk so people can see it, and later I'll add it as a link on Amazon or whatever. Is Amazon your preferred, or do you like people to go?
Yeah. Amazon is my only distributor now.
Okay, great. What you got to say?
Is there any other way that people can find you?
No. I'm a total recluse. I used to get 50 emails and whatnot a day. I can't do it anymore.
Right.
We are beyond grateful you come on our show. You have an amazing history, amazing life story, and you're a font of knowledge that just hard to get any other way.
Yeah, well, I learned it the hard way, blood, sweat, and tears. So I paid my dues.
Well, everyone, thank you for coming and honoring Tom with your presence. The 190 something of you that are watching, and the many who watch later, please reach out and grab Tom's book about his Bradshaw Ranch history and off Amazon, and we will have helped Tom and help us. Tom, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, all.
Love ya. Bye.